Yo, what's good? Welcome to the Mowry podcast. I'm Tavior Mowry,
I'm Sandy Mowry.
and this is the Mowry podcast. Clockwork. Um, yo, what's good? Thanks for being
People
here.
love that.
What?
People love that intro. Well, I'll say I had a friend text me
Uh
and said she loves it because I hate
huh. Yo, that is
it.
so fire.
She's like it's the tension around it that really sells it for me now. So annoying.
Man, that's how you know they're a real friend, though.
I know.
Yeah, I love that because you hate that. Oh man, that's a new wrinkle for sure. Dang, that's what's up, whoever you are. We wanted to talk about something that we were talking about off camera before. Zandy, could you propose or present the question?
Um, yeah, we were just talking about kind of where our relationship is right now, and always doing like checkups, tune-ins, and I asked like how important is happiness in marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, we should talk about that
Mm-hmm.
on there. And I think my mind's kind of racing a little
Okay.
because you truly are being dropped in the middle of a not a fight or anything, but a real. We're talking about our actual marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and I think when you do anything publicly, it's easy to believe that there's like an on-off switch,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like now we do the podcast, and then we're married, and then we're parents,
Mm-hmm.
and it is everything at the same time. So
Right.
like we're shooting now because Triumph is napping,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. Neither of us stop being parents to do the podcast, so we have to like do it all at the same time. So in this moment, I feel like I'm kind of doing it all at the same time, both having private conversation with my husband, but then also having public conversation with you guys,
Mm-hmm.
and learning how to navigate the balance of both.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, what we are communicating about is just how to communicate better,
Mm-hmm.
and how are we honest in vulnerability while still holding space for like grace for the other person's growth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and something that I think is a topic or is a subject that I care a lot is about Tavior's happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily saying like with me, including me, but it's not like you're not happy with me and you should be with somebody else. Like it's not like that, but it's more so like in your day to day, are you happy?
Mm-hmm.
Is it if work isn't making you happy, can that be changed? If you watch too much TV and then you compare yourself to people and then you're unhappy, like can that be changed? Like little, like kind of in a structural way. Um, but when you boil that topic down to just marriage, it's like I guess the question is, what is our opinion on it, and then what do we think God says about it?
Right.
So what would you say?
I
Your
feel
opinion?
like my opinion is it matters to a degree, right?
Yeah.
Like happiness is an incredibly fickle thing.
Yeah.
Like it's up and down, it's hot and cold, it's not thorough. So to judge an experience or relationship exclusively off of happiness would be very shaky, to say the least.
Yeah, like very unstable.
Yeah, incredibly unstable. However, it is important to a certain degree of also being like, yeah, you should be happy majority of the time.
Right.
But it can't be the North Star of like, I'm not happy, this isn't working. Like, it's just like, well, bro, like, that was only one day. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, I just try to align it with whatever God says about it, which is like, okay, well, we have access to joy, and that comes from Him, and that's something that's constant.
Right.
So long as I have joy, it kind of keeps the buffer of the happiness that goes up and down at a very like, equilibrium place.
Right.
But I just was listening in my spirit, like an easy way to like ward off unhappiness is to reflect and have gratitude and have like a inventory of what is actually going on,
right,
and choosing what perspective in which you want to look at that thing. I think that can help.
For sure.
What about you?
I agree. I think I was just thinking about how it's Christmas time. Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah, our Christmas trees up.
Christmas trees up. It's November 1st, so. Hey.
No, we're socially acceptable. Almost.
I'm always socially acceptable. You know how I feel about that.
I know.
I can
do October 17th.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't celebrate Halloween. So
I don't
that's
either,
the next holiday.
But like that's
for me.
crazy work. That's not the next holiday. Thanksgiving? You just gonna blow past Thanksgiving?
Well, I think Thanksgiving is a day, not a holiday.
Okay,
like it's not a season. Nobody's like, it's Thanksgiving season. You know what I mean?
You're rapping right now.
So, but I do love it, the day.
I feel you. Run it up. I need that. The weekend.
Anyway, I was thinking about how happy I get when the Christmas tree is out, or how happy I get when Christmas movies are on. How happy like the Christmas season makes me feel. And it's the most wonderful time of the year. Like that's what's being pitched, like happiness and joy and like unity and people getting along and saying hi to your neighbors and Christmas cookies and you know, it's all of this happiness. But then New Year's comes, January comes, and life goes on. And it's not the same kind of happy, but I'm not like, the year sucks until, you know, like Christmas I can get back till Christmas. And I think that in some seasons in marriage, it feels like the holidays, where it's just like, oh my gosh, like we're so in love. Oh my gosh, I can't keep my hands off of you. Like this is awesome. And then some seasons it's just normal. And I don't think
it's March.
Yeah, it's March and it's spring. There's still like, oh, the flowers are beautiful, but also I have a sinus headache because pollen is, you know what I mean? Like it's both and, but that doesn't mean like throw the whole year away.
Right.
And so I think with marriage, it's the same thing where it's like there's high moments, whether maybe that's like anniversary or whatever, like things that remind us of how we started that make me maybe extra happy. But I don't place a lot of, as much as I enjoy those moments, I don't place a lot of value on what it means for marriage. More so just how I'm enjoying the moment. And also, I mean, I guess by definition, this may not be true, but like sadness isn't the opposite of happiness for me. Like if I'm not feeling like extremely happy that day, it doesn't mean that I'm feeling sad.
Right.
But I think a lot of people do consume it that way. Like if I don't feel it all the time, then like what is it? I guess this is just low. Just normal. So that's my opinion on it. Like I don't think marriage and happiness should go hand in hand when it comes to commitment or quit the commitment.
Right.
I do think that my opportunity as a spouse is to create space for more happiness than I do sadness.
Absolutely.
And that comes by way of honest communication, confrontation, actually getting through real things. But the point is to get back to joy. And I feel like happiness is the icing on cake, on the top of the cake for joy. So it's like, I'm not even like, I just love icing. Because after a while, it's just like cheap.
Yeah,
cheaper
no, absolutely.
Than the more like sustainable thing.
Because happiness could flip on a dime. Like
literally. Like you wake up and you're like, this is the best day ever. By the end of the day, you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Like it's just like what I woke up thinking it was everything, and now it's
I was happy, and then I got a flat tire. Take that back to everybody. Like, may no one have flat tires. But yeah, no, a flat tire could for sure be like
just kill a whole mood.
Vibe killer.
Yeah.
That doesn't take away joy though. I'm just like,
no.
Thank you, Jesus. I have a car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I can afford to get the tire fixed. And, but I think for me, like I'm so empathetic. I am so, and that has made me codependent in the past, and that's something I definitely have to watch out for, specifically in our relationship, because I would like not say what I wanted to say because I'm like, oh, that's not going to make him happy. He won't be happy with me, which is like the deeper thing. If I disagree in this area, then he's going to be unhappy. And something my mom said, which I want to have them on.
Got to.
But she said, because I was maybe like venting to her, Mom, Tavior and I are going through this and blah, blah, blah. And I just can't say what I want to say because if I do, he's going to respond this way and blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to be disconnected. Blah. She was like, oh, so you're being selfish. And I was like, did you not hear?
I'm sorry.
Did you not hear what I just said? I cannot say what I'm being right by biting my tongue so that he doesn't respond, as he doesn't feel a way about what I'm saying. And she's like, that is the way the enemy's pitching it to you, but the reality is you don't want to deal with how he's going to respond emotionally towards you. So you're actually choosing yourself by saying, I'm not going to have the conversation because I don't feel like dealing with you. But it's pitched as, I can't say what I want to say because if I do, like, we won't be good. So that changed my perspective on that.
Shouts out to Mom.
And I was like, it's hard though because most of my friend group, people that, I'm in relationship with, like, I'm the one people call a lot to get back to joy. So, like, if they're going through something, hey, can I process it with you? Absolutely. I love that. Like, I just feel like the Lord has gifted me with discernment, and I feel like the Lord has gifted me with the ability to communicate in a way that people feel seen and loved. It's like one of my favorite things about myself.
And you just point them back to God.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, well, this is just where you're looking at it. Essentially what Mom did with me. This is where you're looking at it wrong, And then it's like, okay, there's a piece that comes with understanding of like, you're not hopeless. Like Jesus has an answer in this realm as well. So in our marriage, I often want to do that. I want to be like, okay, well, what's the way that we can just get back to joy, get back to God, but because I don't have the same 20/20 perspective that I do in other people's worlds, in my own world, because I'm actually in it, I'll be like, well, I have to feel everything. I have to feel every part of this process and not just give an answer. And because of that, sometimes I don't want to feel unhappy. I don't want to feel disconnected. I don't want to feel like we're off because we were just off last week and we finally got back to somewhat normalcy. So I'm not going to bring something up again because I don't feel like being unhappy, But I think the value I place on happiness is exposed in that thinking because I'm like, I'd rather be happy than healthy. I'd rather be happy than deeply connected. I'd rather have a temporary satisfaction than like actually do the work to look at the foundation of this thing. And I think it's happened on the opposite side for me too, where I've been like, well, let's just have the conversation, like hurry up, we should, to try to get through the discomfort of like, we're just kind of not good. Like we're not awful, but it's like we're off and it's been 2 days, and we still haven't made it back to, and I'm like, well, let's just, and he needs time to process more than I do. So forcing a conversation again is because I'm uncomfortable. And I'm like, well, that's fine that you need time, health, but I need to be happy, unhealth. That's fine that you feel that way and you've told me that you don't have an answer, but you just want me to know where you're at, health. But I don't like the feeling of uncertainty. So can we get back to happiness? And I think that's where, for me, my bend being towards codependent, like that's where I can get caught up in the happiness thing quite a bit, where I'm just like, I don't care what it takes. Let's just be happy.
Right.
Let's just put a Band-Aid over it. And so right before we were talking to you guys, he was asking me like, what am I learning? And I was telling him that a lot in marriage, most of the time, but also maybe not most of the time, some of the time it's both, I feel a little uncertain here, but I also feel really steady here. Like, I feel like we probably have some more things to iron out over here, but I do feel solid over here. And not letting uncertainty turn into the thing that eclipses everything else. And that's hard for me because unless I'm like 100% good, I'd rather just focus on the thing that I need to get better at than enjoy the thing that I am good at. So when you're then a part of a team who processes very differently than you, who needs different things than you, you have to learn, why does this make me so unhappy? Why does uncertainty threaten me like that? Not, well, just come on. Like, obviously this is the right way, you know. That's kind of how I feel about it. Fruit of the Spirit is joy. Happiness wasn't listed.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I don't think that means it's not valuable, but I do think there's a difference between a dollar bill and a $100 bill. And one can get you some things, and then one can last you, you know, for a while. In this economy, maybe not.
Just a little bit longer. I think you said something interesting about, like, rather being happy than experiencing disconnection. And when you're speaking about that, I was just thinking of like muscles and how in order for a muscle to grow, it must be torn. And in that tearing, it heals itself, and that's how it grows. But I was just thinking about how happy I am to just sit on the couch and vibe out.
Yeah.
Where if I were to work out, like, yeah, there is some enjoyment and happiness in there, but
not for me.
The pain of lifting something and experiencing the literal tearing of those muscle fibers, I would say that my muscles aren't happy.
Right.
But in that desire to be connected, the muscle fibers, they grow stronger.
Yeah.
And also just, I think it may be just human nature to obviously avoid pain and seek out happiness. Because it's like, yeah, man, you can eat that McDonald's like all day and you're gonna be big vibing, but there's gonna come a point in time where like this is not going to be good for you. You know what I'm saying? I think the same thing is true or rings true in the pursuit of happiness. If that's the end all be all, like, yeah, you're gonna be having a fun night out, but like
you're gonna pay for it.
You're gonna pay for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think too, I'm just thinking about if happiness isn't the point, what is? And in this conversation and in our own thinking, we are saying this is what most people chase after, whether that's in marriage, outside of marriage, job, you know, relationship, house, what kind of car they drive. It's pitched as there's a certain type of happiness. Yeah. And if we're saying that's not the point, then what is the point? And kind of zooming in back towards marriage, what I'm learning, and we've only been married for 4 years, is looking like Jesus.
Yeah. Transformation.
Yeah. And every situation has the opportunity to give you more reflection, you know, more of his reflection, if we allow it to. But for Zandy, my emotions get in the way of that a lot. And my focus gets in the way of that a lot. Because sometimes I'm like, yeah, okay, Lord, like, you know, I'm down. But as soon as I get uncomfortable, I'm like, this is not nice. Like, I don't prefer this. I would rather be happy. So really undoing that narrative of like happiness isn't the point. I think it is still a blessing of the Lord. Like, he wants good things for us. He has good things for us. I don't think we're supposed to live a life of just sadness. And there's also like a pendulum on the other side of the pendulum is like, some Christians are just like depressed and like, this is just my lot and I'm just doing things for God and I'm looking down and I don't have anything. He doesn't care about me, but he's my Lord, so I serve him. And I'm like,
that's a lie.
Yeah, he's your dad though.
Straight up.
And he said, if we know how to give good gifts, how much more does the Father know how to give? And a good gift does bring happiness. But it doesn't mean it's void of work. It doesn't mean it's void of discomfort. It doesn't mean
chastisement.
Yeah.
Pruning. That stuff is not cool. Actually, I just bought some new shears, and before we shot this, I was literally like, this joint looks healthy, because it is. But also, there are some branches that were dead. They were struggling. And I was like, oh, you got to go. And the crazy part is, like, if those don't go, they're going to continue to take resources from the soil or the water that should be going to the other healthy parts of the plant. You know what I mean? So in cutting that off, I've just given this more resources to distribute. But how many things do we resist the pruning? And that's just draining us, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think in that analogy, for years, I thought about me as a thing that was getting cut off. And I'm like, he has to change. He has to cut me off of the healthy thing. And he's like, no, you're the healthy thing.
Facts.
I'm cutting the things away from you that are stealing from you. Like, you're the plant that is healthy. You're the part of it that needs the good resources. But I thought my sin disqualified me. So I'm like, well, because I lied or because I whatever, I have to be cut away, you know.
It's the grafting of you into Christ in those branches. Because it's like, you're good because you're grafted into him. You know what I'm saying? But there's still branches on your branches.
Yeah, and it's
my
all
branch,
just
all of our branches.
The sanctification process. Like, I believe that when we accept Jesus as our Savior, we are saved. And there's nothing we can do about that. And then but it does start a sanctification process.
Facts.
Where I believe that's where the glory to glory comes from. He takes us from one version of ourselves. Well, he makes us a new creation, but the habits and stuff in our soul, our mind, our will, and our emotion still have to be sanctified and redeemed. Though our spirit is perfectly connected to him. Our soul, our habits, are the way that we think, which is why he tells us to daily renew our mind. Those things have to be daily submitted to the Lord. Secondly, submitted to the Lord. You know what I mean? Like, just moment by moment.
Yeah, like, this is my 50th time today that I've done this.
Yeah. And that is part of that for me in the season is learning the happiness thing. Two things. One, happiness isn't everything. It is a beautiful gift, but is not the source. Two, his happiness isn't directly dependent on me. And that, I think, is a hard math equation, if you will, to try to figure out when we do affect each other so much, and our pace affects each other's pace, and specifically with parenting, like, there's nothing we can do without communication now.
No way.
I can't just leave the house.
What? No.
Like, and not because I have to, like, necessarily ask for permission, but Triumph's safety is dependent on.
We try.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can go. I'll go. I'll stay here. You know what I'm saying?
This is what I'm doing for the day. Now, Tavior has a habit of asking me what I'm going to do for the day.
For the 50th time.
Yeah.
That same day.
He's
so,
like,
what are we?
So, what is the plan?
I think that's just a husband thing. We be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm like, do you write it down? Like, do you even try to remember? Or
I try, but then it just.
My Lord.
I'm trying to keep track of my own thing.
So why are you asking me?
Because I'm trying to see.
So anyway, by the 50th time, I used to annoy me. It just is what it is now.
Thanks, babe. I appreciate that.
But halfway through me telling him, he'll be like, "Oh, yeah." Yeah, I've said this before.
Yeah.
Anyway, I lost my train of thought because I just thought about that. I'm like, man, you ask me every day.
Sorry, it probably wasn't something we needed.
Oh, teamwork. Like, in marriage, the thing that I'm still trying to figure out is, like, you need to know what's going on in my day because you plan your day accordingly because we have a son. Or even before that. Well, probably less before that on my end. I was pretty I'm growing in dependence, not codependence, but with God and with my husband. I'm hyper independent. I don't see clearly my need for help a lot. so that does affect marriage. But now with Try, I'm working on it. We have to communicate, and so when I think about like, well, you know, I'm not responsible for my husband's happiness. I'm like, if every day I just left and didn't say anything, that does feel like I have a responsibility. So that's where it doesn't all the way make sense.
Yeah, like you're not the. I feel like it's one of those things where you're not responsible, nor am I responsible for your happiness, but also like I'm a contributing factor to your happiness.
And that's the balance that I still am learning, because I'm like, what it feels like to me is, unless I'm on, like unless I'm firing at all cylinders, we have a conversation and it's like, I'm not happy, X, Y, and Z, whatever. This is what I'm feeling from you. And I could be like, I'm not responsible for your happiness. You know what I mean? And it's like, that may be true, but
then it's also like, I think it would be more so like the quality of whatever's being spoken about. Yeah, it all varies. Saying? Yeah, but it's also like, I think it's one thing to understand the reality that I'm not responsible for your happiness. Oh man, oh dang, it's Cliff. I'm not responsible for your happiness, but I think it's different when, sorry, this call got me all thrown off. You're not responsible for someone else's happiness, but you should desire to bring happiness to them. And I think
agree.
that is a great place to be, understanding that like, hey, it's not my responsibility, but I do want to do this thing. From one place, there's anxiety and restriction, and then from the other place, there's freedom and joy of knowing that like I'm just expressing a desire of mine, and my desire is for you to be happy. It's not my requirement to make you happy,
right?
But this is my desire,
right?
Which brings a levity to it because it's coming from a desire.
Yeah. I'm tracking. I don't disagree. I'm just thinking about like, you know, our lives.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, then at what point, something that I used to do early on in our marriage is like try to essentially counsel Tave. So it would, instead of give counsel or wisdom, so he would come and be like, hey, Zandy, like when you do this, I don't feel seen. And I'd be like, it's probably from your childhood.
Yeah. Stop hitting me with the crazy, like.
And though I probably wasn't 100% wrong, it's on, in another episode we talked about this, but I was like, you can be right and wrong at the same time.
Facts.
So it's like, I was forfeiting connection and actually listening for the sake of being right, because I was like, if I can prove that this emotion actually doesn't have anything to do with me, it kind of absolves me from the responsibility of being wrong. So after that correction in me, like the Holy Spirit convicted me of that by way of community, I've now been like, what do you do when you know it's not all on you? You know what I mean? You're saying, Zandy, I don't feel happy. And I'm like, okay, it's not my responsibility to make you happy, but I do want you to be happy. So I'm going to do these things to make you, because I know that you like these things, to hopefully contribute to your happiness. And then you're like, well, I still don't feel happy. And I'm like, well, I've done all I can in my power to contribute to happiness without turning it into a codependent situation. And there's still a tension there. Now my natural self would step in and be like, well, let me go even further. Yeah. And prove that this is not maybe on me. You know what I mean? So then what?
I feel like probably listen to your partner and say if they're saying that if they feel happy now because of something, and believe whatever they say.
What if the partner? But what happens is, but the partner in this hypothetical situation, it is a big unhappiness and a casual happiness.
Yeah.
So the gravity of the two experiences are so. I'm like, this can't be. This can't be. In hypothetically, in my logic, I'm like, what just happened?
The happiness itself is a fickle thing. Like the nature of it is pendulum swinging. Just like from this is the best day ever to flat tire, I hate today.
I know, but I'm saying, what if the partner never gets to this is the best day ever, this is my best life ever? And it seems like it goes from this is not good, I'm not happy, to no, I'm chilling. Instead of this is awful to like, I feel so good.
Then like, I think I feel, or this is great, or this is cool, is more than enough because it's on the, like the red and black. It's in the black. You know what I'm saying? It's not
So we're
red.
in the black.
Hey.
We're very different people.
If you're in the black, you're up. You know what I'm saying?
We're very, very different people. And that's the thing about marriage. That just is what it is. But letting you guys into actual experience. Yeah. I'm just like, my brain doesn't work that way, but that's okay. Yeah. Like,
and the thing is, it's like, just as it went from red to black, like it could go all the way super high in the black. You know what I mean? Like,
I've never seen that though.
Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
No, I'm saying
or it can't be.
I'm trying to contribute to that though.
I know, but like, maybe that's something that you can't do. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's a posture thing. And that's why it's that dynamic of like, hey, I'm expressing a desire. This is my desire, not in a codependent way. And that's the beginning and the end of it, because that's you staying in your lane and doing what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think kind of tying back the whole concept of the conversation is no emotion, happiness, sadness, anger, shame should be a North Star. They contribute to conversation in a very healthy way because they're telling you something's happening in me, and they're good tools to start digging.
Check engines.
Yeah.
Light.
Yeah, lift up the hood. There's something happening under there. But when you make any emotion the end all be all, you're setting yourself up for a very fickle relationship, whether that's between you and God, you and your spouse, you and your kids, you and your friends, like your siblings, whatever it is. If emotion is the leader instead of maybe the co-pilot, it is very hard to have anything consistently.
Absolutely. I've been reading Job the last couple weeks, just on some like, this is just like what it is. You know what I mean? Like, what's happening to Job is way outside of what I would consider to be morally right, or even just right in general. Fair. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like, he's God, and his understanding far exceeds mine.
And if we're talking about unhappiness,
and that's what I'm saying. But like, in all of that emotion that he experienced from tremendous loss, like, yeah, he for sure got off his chest what he needed to get off his chest to God, but he still held on to him throughout it all.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's just kind of one of those things where it's like, yo, like, I can't be ran by my emotions. And it's okay if I experience negative emotions, but that's not the end all be all.
Yeah.
Regardless if it transcends my understanding or not.
Yeah. Mom always says, you gotta land. So she's like, I get it. You're emotional. Imagine like a plane taking off. You're emotional. It gets you up there. you're feeling, at some point you got to land. And where are you going to land? And so it feels that way with topics led by emotion. Yes, they can get you off the ground. And I'm feeling either good, like I'm flying high, or I'm like, I just was running, I had to go, like I needed to get out of that place. But at some point you do have to land. And I think what I'm thankful for in our marriage is that there's a safe landing place because of, one, the foundation is Christ. But then two, like, you're really safe for me. And I think that the enemy has been trying to distort that by telling me, like, you never know. You know, like, maybe he's mad at you, and maybe you don't know, and maybe you're not making him happy. And I've kind of been in this swirl of, like, maybe that's right. Like, maybe I don't know what he actually thinks of me. Maybe I'm not who I think I am to him. You know, like, all of those lies. And this is post-commitment. You know what I mean? And I'm not typically got like this. Maybe it has something to do with pregnancy. Hormones everywhere. But because I'm not too phased. You could attest to that. I'm not like I'm emotional in the sense that I do have emotion, but I'm not a high-low person. Like, one day I'm up and then
pretty even keel.
Yeah, not a lot really phases me. Probably just because I don't really know why. It just doesn't faze me. I would like to say it's like a faith thing, but I don't even know if it's that. It just doesn't. Anyway, what was I saying? I've been getting landing. I'm thankful that you're a safe place to land.
Oh, thanks.
Even in moments where we may not feel happy and we may not feel like seen by each other, or we feel misunderstood, or we feel like, how did you get there? You know, kind of stuff. It doesn't turn into a place that isn't safe.
Right.
Even if it does feel emotionally hard. I've never been yelled at by Tave. I've never been called out of my name. I've never been, you know, anything inappropriate. I could say I've never experienced from him. Even in times where we were just not on the same page. There was no part of us that was like, okay, yeah, we kind of get it. We don't get it. We're
not even in the same book.
No, it's like, how are you?
Like,
So thank you for that.
Oh, thanks, babe.
And
I appreciate it.
Not something we should fight about. Why would you use this moment to make a joke?
Oh, thanks, babe. I appreciate that. No. I can't help it. Yo, I was trying to be serious with Try, and it's...
Have you seen him when he goes? I'm like...
I held on for like 3 seconds, and then I just broke. I couldn't do it.
He knows he's cute. He's like...
I just don't know how his smile continues to turn on its... I know, but I got like a trapezoid smile. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like... It looks like a cartoon, but his does the like...
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, how are you
he's
doing
funny.
That?
Unfortunately, for us,
he got me.
He got me the other day too.
No, he got like my side of comedy.
No, my timing is way better than yours.
Zandy, you put up shots every like 5 minutes,
and they land,
but they don't land like me
though. Anyway, I'm curious to see how he'll continue to. And I'm happy that we'll teach him to the best of our ability, all this stuff.
Facts.
Emotions aren't everything, Try.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just don't feel good, but you're still in the right place.
Yeah.
That's a good sentiment to end on with marriage, is like, now, again, I always put out caveats because I do not know people's situations, and I'm not trying to make a blanket statement like I do. But what I have found to be true in our relationship, and blessed by God, is you can't lean to your own understanding. And sometimes that I'm not happy anymore, we haven't blah blah blah, is leaning to our own understanding. And part of this like kind of almost American dream of like you should get to a place where you arrive and this is all you feel, happiness.
Yeah.
And it's just not true.
Yeah. And like when you think about it, before we go, like that's such a carnal experience.
Because that was not Jesus' experience when he was here.
No. Well, I do believe, not in all senses, but like happiness is heavily modeled after carnal experiences. It's like, I'm happy eating this ice cream right now. This is going to flee from me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a permanent state.
It's modeled after temporary experiences.
Exactly.
For sure, yeah.
And that's what it's like. We're temporarily here in these bodies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's.
Yeah, because I honestly, even if I think about my language, if I'm like, going to see a movie or something, a Christmas movie, and I'm like, oh, it made me so happy. If I'm in worship or something, most of my language would be like, I just felt very fulfilled. I feel joy. One is, that was a temporary thing. That was great. Another one is something that will be, I tapped into something that's going to last forever.
And you'll forever be chasing happiness. And you hear about it all the time. Like, yeah, this person just didn't make me happy anymore. So I got into another relationship. And that person is making me happy. But like, guess what, bro?
About to run out. Learn from us. Not every day is happy.
Nah.
Happy, joy.
And that's health, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
because even if you're single, you're not gonna be happy every day.
No. But you have access to joy, though. You make me happy too, babe.
So good job on that.
Thanks. We still have to do a handshake.
We've done 20.
I know.
You never remember them.
I did a handshake with Taj on our project that we're working on, and it looks fire.
Nice.
I haven't seen it since we were like kids.
Something that made Tave happy was he got to go to the World Series game.
I did get to go to the World Series game.
The last LA one.
Which
that's and then they won. Dodgers
won. With my dear friend Jill and my brother Taj, which is incredible.
So that made me something that made me happy was the Christmas tree ring up.
October 17th.
Was it the 17th?
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's a little early for you, boy. But it's all good. Happy life.
He's making it into something right now, but you said
I did. You were watching like the Santa Claus or something like that, and I was like, if I brought this Christmas tree up right now, I know that would make her happy.
But now you're roasting me for it. So it's like happy then unhappy. This is exactly the point, everybody. Happiness is temporary, it doesn't last. One thing that can make you happy can then be the next can be the thorn in your side.
You used to make me laugh, now it makes me cry.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like them old school country songs. Those are so. Have you ever really listened to those?
No, but just from being born and raised in Nashville, I know that they're very well written.
They're so fire.
They're mostly sad.
Yeah.
But a lot of so is the blues.
Yeah.
But the country stuff is just like the quality of songwriting, storytelling.
I'm trying to get I want that country that's like 70s, 60s. Like, let me know what's going on in that range of time.
We got to get with Thad.
Oh, yeah. He's tapped in on all that. That stuff be making a man cry.
Good storytelling, I'm telling you.
Buy a pickup truck.
We also used to fight about this. Songwriting. He's grown. We've grown.
We have.
You have.
We have.
No, my point still stands.
What's that point?
My point was the song is only as good as the lyric.
I disagree. However,
but not as much as you used to disagree.
I feel like the melody is more important than the lyric. The lyric will stick with you, but the melody is gonna really get you.
And see, this is Nashville raised, LA raised.
Yeah.
I think also the goal, if whatever your goal is, that also is very indicative to what argument you have.
For sure.
So like a huge record, melody.
If you want me, what do I know?
Right.
Yeah. I don't even know what that means.
I don't either, but it sounds great.
It does.
A song, like a real song.
Skating.
Like songwriting. Yeah. The art of songwriting.
Bob Dylan.
I'm coming from a purist standpoint. Yeah. I'm like,
sometimes it gets a little, like the writer's round type things can get a little like self-indulgent from my perspective. Where I'm just like,
what?
Like from the like, it's so rich sometimes that it's like I'm eating decadent chocolate cake with chocolate ice cream and fudge sprinkles with fudge sauce. And
I
I'm just
think
like,
that only happens.
this is a lot of chocolate, bruh, on top of a brownie. You know what I mean? And it's just like a lot for me.
I get that, and I don't get that, because I'm like, I'm not saying just go to Nashville and go to a writer's round. I'm saying top tier songwriters. There's 5 of them up there, and they each do 3 songs.
No, but what I'm saying is that decadent dessert, right? Of like, this is just so self-indulgent storytelling songwriting is the same as the like rot your teeth pop record. Like, I'm talking about this is what it is in the extremes on each. Like, obviously you don't want to be out on the perimeters, but I'm saying like this exists, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is like, I'd rather have the rot your teeth candy pop song. I'd rather listen to that than the super
and I'd definitely
song.
rather listen to the song.
We got different tastes.
For sure. That's what I said. Nashville, LA.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
I really think that's a contributing factor.
Maybe.
You don't?
Yeah. I don't know what's going on in LA anymore like that.
Well, I'm saying how the LA you grew up in.
Oh yeah, just like production based. Yeah. This is story time.
Nashville's very different than how I grew up too. So I'm not being like 2024 in Nashville.
Yeah.
But the roots that I grew up around was very much like, I know you don't know Tommy Sims.
I'm familiar with him.
That kind of, y'all should look him up, Tommy Sims.
Hey, there's this Tommy Sims record that is...
It's his only one.
Oh, that's the only one? Yeah, he only has one. But that joint is so fire.
I'm telling you, go listen to it.
Like, yeah, I'll be in there referencing for sure.
Uncle Tommy, if you see this, please text me back. I need you on our record.
That would be crazy.
He played on Say What You Want.
He played bass?
Yeah.
I've been trying to play that bass line,
it's hard.
Just trying to get it under my fingers.
Yeah.
And he played it on a long joint, or was it a Mustang?
Oh no, it was a normal. I think it was like a jazz bass. But I have a video somewhere.
He had to be moving quick.
And then you know that song.
That's a lot to do.
That we're working on. Bing 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 bing.
Sorry.
All got children in love. He wrote that with us.
All got children. That's an old song?
We wrote that maybe 2018, 17.
Oh, yeah, dang. Because I was like, this joint sounds different.
That's what I'm saying. We're trying to get him to play bass on it.
Sheesh. Anyways, this is really life, though. That's how our conversations be going. Thank y'all for stopping by on the Mowry podcast. Until next time.
I'm Zandy Mowry. That's Tavior Mowry, and this is the Mowry podcast.
Whoever her friend is, that get her, please. Peace.